Garozel and Sasha Dizium. Chanel, welcome to the second channel. Y'all probably like, girl, where you been at? First of all, if you on the membership or you on the Patreon, you still getting uploads. Shout out to y'all. Clap it up for yourself. For the rest of y'all, listen, I'm just tell you right now, if I'm taking a little bit of a break or I'm taking time off, the memberships, the Patreon's gonna get the uploads before anyone else, okay? So shout out to y'all. And shout out to the rest of you guys who have been patient. If you guys are not aware, I just got a job that, let's just say, is probably one of the worst places I've ever worked. And I've just been stressed and tired. I'll save that for a video on the personal channel coming very soon. But as you guys can tell by the title, we're going to be doing a KrikKrakCOZ where you guys send in your stories. We go over them, give advice, etc. Shout out to those of you who have been sending your stories, especially follow-ups. I do ask that if you are going to send a follow-up, that you do send the original video, like the link, the picture, the thumbnail, something, because sometimes I see them and I'm like, like I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, y'all be like, hey, thanks for reading my story. And I'm like, what story? And then y'all just, no, on me with the next story. Like, no, okay? I need to know what story y'all is talking about. And before we even get into it, I would like to announce that I am officially a nonprofit owner. For those of you who have been watching me for years, you would know that my nonprofit is something I've been working on since I was in high school. It's something that I've truly wanted to do, and it is a dance-based nonprofit for underprivileged youth and adults. I'm starting my first set of independent dance classes in March. If you guys are in New Jersey, specifically North New Jersey, I would love for you guys to attend. My first set of classes is going to be Konpa based, because y'all already know I love me some Konpa. And these are going to be cultural based dance classes, Afro, hip hop, jazz, stuff like that. Like, I want to do the traditional stuff as well. However, in terms of like the classes that I'm doing, I'm going to call them core and culture, and it's going to be based on literally core and culture of dance versus just, you know, showing up and learning a dance for like 45 minutes to an hour. We really gonna be training, we gonna be outside. So if this is something that you guys are interested in and you are in the New Jersey area, I really want to see you there. Every month we're gonna have a different theme. Like I said, Konpa is first. And again, if you want to come, everything you need is going to be linked down below. My nonprofit's name is LAKAYRO. Lakai means home in Creole, and Ro is short for my last name, Romelis. So House of Ro, pretty much. It took me years to come up with that name. It's insanity how long it took me to come up with that name, but I absolutely love it. A made up name, but like two things put together. So yeah, let's get straight into it. If you guys do have a story, please send it to the email on the screen, not my personal email. Now, this first one right here says, my stepmom is a witch. As y'all know, I do not read these until we get on camera together. So let's get into this one. My dad had gotten married to this woman. Woo, we're going to change the name, y'all. Could we make sure we change the names before we send them to me? We're going to name this woman Yolanda. My dad was always in trouble selling drugs and going to prison. But since they have met, they both decided to change their lives around. My dad got 2 jobs, and ever since my dad has been with her, my grandma and my great-grandma would always mention that she was a witch, which I believe my great-grandmother, who was very into God, a Catholic woman, would say the same thing. I started to notice a change in my dad. Whatever she wanted or said, my dad would do. My dad has never settled down, always had multiple women. Since she popped up in his life, it was like he was a different person. She would always carry around a black book with a white book and white and black candles. She would pull them out, and when we were all sleeping, she thought I was sleeping, but I peeped it since I was 8. Now, this is funny. I have a family member going through a very similar situation, and to this day, I do not trust this lady. If you guys are on the Patreon or you are on the membership, I've briefly mentioned it on my membership, but on my Patreon, I've been talking about it for a while. This is the cousin named DMX and his wife. DMX is like a second father to me. He got married and he started losing his mind. We all think it's the lady. Child, you gotta be careful. I'm not gonna say don't get remarried after you're divorced or after you're widowed, but like, you gotta be very careful who you let into your space when you're that vulnerable, right? Like when you're going through a relationship change, when you have children, like there's so many factors into it. And this happens to a lot of men and women. It happens to everyone where they end up in a vulnerable state and they end up just picking up whatever feels good in the moment versus what is actually good for them and their family and their well-being. She has even looked like a witch. Her appearance started to change. Her moles or warts on her face started to disappear. She looked more glowing than she ever did. But my dad looked drained all the time. She had this hate towards me and I felt it. Child, this sounds so familiar. I'm gonna have to tell some of my cousins to watch this video because child, the ghetto. She didn't like when I would spend time with my dad or go travel to see him. It was like she was jealous, but she would always mention to me that since I was a Pisces, I would sense things and that I had gifts. She would always say I was different. I remember her telling me a story about when she was a little girl. She was sick with a very bad fever and an owl flew into her room. Her mom and grandma tried to smack it with the broom, and when they did, it fell into a pile of nothing but feathers. Since then, I would see owls with human faces watching me. I would always feel something watching me. It's giving lugao. I don't got time for none of that shit. Dam lang sa lugao. And I said what I said, I meant what I said. It's giving lugao energy. Yeah, no. I truly believe whatever she had against me, she would send owls to ruin whatever I had going on or scare me. But I'm a very spiritual person. I can sense things before they're about to happen. I can always sense people's intentions before getting to know them. I do believe whatever gift I was given has been saving me from stepmom's jealousy. Since then, they have gotten divorced and I stopped seeing owls. Thank God. I am a Christian and a Catholic. I do believe there are bad and good, and you can't experience bad without good or good without the bad. I do want to look into my family history, but my dad never speaks on that side of his family. I do believe because of witchcraft. Shout outs to your dad for getting a divorce because this lady sounded like she was up to no good. I genuinely don't be understanding what the goal of these women are, like the succubus, Jezebel types that go after men who are vulnerable, or, you know, like the woman eater type of men, womanizer men. Like, I never understand, but I do know that a lot of people do have vampiric energy. I know that a lot of people have that thing where they have to feed off of other people's energy in order to feel alive, in order to feel good about themselves. They have to beat people down. They have to be disrespectful and extra. A lot of you guys probably understand exactly what I'm saying, where some of you guys are like, well, why would anyone do that? I used to be the same, where it was like, I don't see why anyone would be that malicious and ridiculous. But also it's like, no, some people need to, right? We talked about vampires briefly. I keep saying I'm going to revisit the topic, but I ain't gonna hold you. Vampires creep me the fuck out because anyone could be a vampire. And there's people that are vampires and they don't know that they're vampires. There's some people that have to live off of other people's energy and they just come into the room and they suck the energy out of everyone and anyone that is giving it to them unwillingly. And then there's people that do it on purpose, right? They know that they need the energy and they seek a source, and you could be the source and you don't even know. And a lot of times I feel like people like this, like the womanizers, the demonic stepmoms and stuff, I feel like a lot of them are vampires or lugaus in a sense. Like they just suck everything out of everyone and they're doing it on purpose. They don't care who they hurt. That's why I just be written on one petite, okay? Let's get into this next one. First off, I'm so glad you have an email. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to submit my story here or on another site. You have the right email, sweetheart. Thank you so much for following instructions. I have a story that others might relate to. Not sure if you remember a while ago where there was a city in a sky in China. I went somewhere like it in my dreams a couple of times. Not sure if this place is heaven, but it's pretty close. There was no Jesus or anything, just community, which is odd because I grew up Christian. I went there 3 times for long periods of times. The first time was when I went through a long period of abuse from my aunts. They basically bullied my mom all of her life until she had a mental breakdown and is now in a facility. I am so sorry. And your aunts are going to get theirs. That dynamic between some people and their siblings and then it passing on to the nieces and nephews and stuff always interests the hell out of me, because although my family's extremely toxic, I have never really seen that dynamic, but I've seen it play out in a lot of my friends and their family dynamics. It's just like, yo, I want to whoop the aunt's asses. Every time, why are we acting like this towards family? I don't know. I'm not the biggest family-oriented person, but the idea of being mean and disrespectful to someone just because you don't like their parent is crazy. People should maintain separate relationships aside from the relationship that people have with like that elder, like that guardian, that parent. Like, it's like, me not liking you and then me not liking your child because I don't like you. I think that's mad crazy. Those are completely different relationships. But one day I remember I lost touch with my body and was floating over my body for days while awake. Okay. That sounds crazy. I remember one of these days being so mentally drained when I went to bed. I woke up in this city in the sky. I briefly saw some loved ones who passed away and my two uncles who recently passed away. I remember venting to one of them about my aunt, and he said he would handle them. He walked off from me and I woke up back in my real bed. I have since not heard a word from my abusive aunts. The next two encounters my loved ones showed me around the city where I saw myself and what I did every day while working there in the city. It was like I was able to observe myself, see myself, and I knew myself at the same time. I think we get that. There were different cities within the cities, and I was told that my aunts were from another city, and one of my uncles who passed was actually my father in this city. My mother was there and also visited frequently. My mother and that uncle always had a close relationship, so it made some sense to me. The people in the city respected me greatly as I did a lot of work for them. The people in the city tended to party and commune all day, but I did the energy work, which helps the city function every day. I was showed the energy source that I use, which I also created from my energy working with the sun. I also have 3 to 4 sisters that were very carefree and were proud of me. I tended to have a very serious and uptight energy, which made them annoyed at times. They laughed at my aunt and were proud about how I handled the situation. After those experiences, I came back to myself and no longer had the outer body feeling and felt stronger. Almost like I needed to remember who I was and how much I was respected and loved to continue this journey. Not sure if others have had similar stories of being in this place, but perhaps you may have come across something similar or can give guidance to what I have experienced. Anywho, thank you for reading. Please respond if able. This is a lot. And very interestingly enough, I've actually had dreams like this back in the day. Like I'll say like, not even back in the day, maybe 2-3 years ago. It's weird because I feel like these dreams tend to, I don't know if it's a real place or not. I don't know if it being in China. I don't know. I don't know where to be at. One thing about my dreams a lot of times are like me being like a fly on the wall. There are other people's experiences. Sometimes it's people in my life and I can tell they're in trouble. So I'm able to do whatever it is in real life. I will say a lot of the times when I do have these dreams, I do feel less anxious. I usually do have these dreams where I feel anxious or someone around me is in trouble, whether it's family, friends, etc. It's very interesting, and it does seem like I'm doing a series of things like you mentioned here. I know for a lot of you guys have probably had similar dreams. It feels like an alternate universe, and I cannot pinpoint what it is. One of my friends tried to explain to me one time that it's like some sort of communal afterlife space where we come from. I believe in reincarnation, right? I believe that we do choose to come back, or that we have a special set of things that we have to do in order to not come back. And someone explained to me that it's basically a space in which you came from. I don't even know how to explain it. Like for those of us who are Christian, it's like God is there, and then there's like council of people, and they decide on your life, what you did wrong, what you did well, if you're going back, what your assignment is. And up there, there's like a community of people that have like basically did what they needed to do, and they're done and they're not going back to earth. I never really told this friend about this. She was talking about her thoughts and ideas. I feel like I had these same exact dreams. So I know other people have had these dreams. I don't know if it's real. Maybe we all just crazy, to be honest with you, but thank you so much for sharing. Shout outs to both of you guys who shared. If you guys have anything to add for the people who did share their stories, make sure you guys are respectful down below. If you want to share your stories, make sure you guys send it to the email right here on the screen. I'm a little backed up. It's like for every one I do, 5 more come in. So listen, I'm going to read every single one of them. The only ones I do not read are the ones that are super duper short, the ones that you tell me blatantly not to read, that you just want advice on, and the ones that don't have a follow-up, because it's kind of annoying for me to read a story and you're telling me it's follow-up and I can't find the follow-up. So again, if you're going to send a follow-up, please link it, take a picture of it, whatever, so that we can reference the original story. Thank you guys so much for watching with the Patreon or the membership. Shout out to those of you guys who do all of it. Subscribe to all the channels, subscribe to both the memberships. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. Again, LAKAYRO is up and fully functioning. Our first class is going to be in March 4th to be exact, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m., Belleville, New Jersey. All the details are going to be down below. And for those of you guys who are interested, we are still going to Brazil. Shout out to those of you guys who've been booking your trips. I cannot wait to see you in July. And with that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Check out the other channels. Check out the Discord. Just check out the description box for everything you guys always ask me about down below. And I'ma see y'all next time. Bye!